denoting people reaching young adulthood in the early 21st century. Most social networking groups are dominated by the millennial generation. Some of the current generation suffer from the lack of understanding of the last generation of their ideas and opinions. Others do not feel annoyed, and some believe that this generation is smarter than the last generations, and some see the opposite. Let's now listen to the views of people from the millennial generation.
About the first question, I think the main difference between the both is the technology improvement. The child used to do some work and run all over the house, but nowadays they are just sitting in front of tablets. About the second question, actually yes, there is a huge gap between understanding the person nowadays because all their life has been transferred to the social media. And about the third question, I think no, actually, this generation is very smart than the past. The main factor of my answer is because of the technology improvement. And thank you.
Well, I think the differences are very clear between the current generation and the previous generation. I mean, technology and modern communication tools, like for example social media, have contributed greatly in the creation of a gap, especially in thought, between the two generations. Like anything new, there are both advantages and disadvantages. But from my personal opinion, I think the advantages are dominant. I mean, the advantages are more than disadvantages, and it also depends on the user himself, I guess.
Reaching to the last question, I don't think there is a difference in intelligence level between this generation and the generation before it, because intelligence is not determined by a time or space, and there is no clear way and efficient way to measure intelligence. And IQ tests are highly criticized because they are very subjective, they are not objective, and they are only measure mathematical and other skills, but they are not the best way to measure intelligence. So I stand for my point that there is no difference in intelligence level between this generation and the generation before it.
We have noticed that the millennial generation was able to deal with the old millennium. We also discover that the new generation likes change and development and does not like the old style. The old generation was the one the new generation to follow the same pattern, and this is not possible because the nature of the modern generation is to move and evolve continuously.